¿Cómo están? For those of you who don't know, I speak both Spanish and English and have my whole life since I was about 3 years old. My first language was English, and then I moved in with my grandmother, who did not speak any English at the age of 3 and had to speak Spanish. So I've spoken both languages since I was 3 years old. A lot of people are really surprised that I could speak it so well, but you know, when you don't have a choice. Yeah, so I speak Spanish better the more often I speak it, but I don't speak it unless I have to, you know? Unless I'm speaking to someone who doesn't speak English or interpreting for somebody, I don't really, you know, just start talking to people in Spanish that don't understand what I'm saying. And because most of my family speaks English, unless they're just trying to talk behind people's back, there has never really been a necessity for me to really use it consistently. But it has been really helpful in finding jobs because I can read it, write it, and speak it. However, there are some technical terms and some really large words that I just never learned because I've never had to use. But, you know, once I hear them, I'm like, oh, okay, I understand that. I just would not have come up with that on my own. I spent a lot of time watching Spanish movies, different types of Spanish, like, you know, Argentina, some Brazilian movies, like other movies that have like the Latin, I guess, root for their language, just to see if I can understand them. And I've watched, you know, Spanish speaking cartoons and movies my whole life because my grandmother always had the Spanish channel on. So that's what I watched. I grew up watching Chisbrita and La India Maria and Chavo del Ocho and Cantinflas and all that great stuff. I do live in a predominantly Mexican immigrant Spanish speaking area, and most of them can't tell what the fuck I am. So when I do speak Spanish, they're like surprised, which is interesting. So I'm a lot paler and taller than most of the immigrant families where I live. A lot of them are shorter and a lot darker, and they don't speak English at all. So when I do go to the Mexican grocery stores, I have to speak Spanish, so I do. And it's often met with like a, wow, how did you learn? You speak so well. That's kind of happened my whole life though. Most people in general think that I'm some sort of islander or a Filipino, Hawaiian, some sort of Asian mix. Depending on the neighborhood and where I'm at, I've gotten like Hawaiian, Filipino, and Black, you know, depending on the crowd I'm hanging with. So I guess whatever nationality of people I'm hanging out with, people assume that I must be part that culture. And they would all be right. Because I have like 9 different bloods according to Ancestry DNA. I am African. I am European. I am Indigenous. I am Egyptian. I am all that. But I am not Asian. That is the one thing that I am not. And everyone thinks that I am. Funny, right?